and I am still thousands of dollars. I make almost twice the federal minimum wage, and I am still thousands of dollars below the poverty line. I am homeless. I live in my car. I cannot afford to rent an apartment. I can hardly afford to live in my car. Food is expensive, and it's tough times, you know? I work 40 hours a week. I am not in an entry-level position. I am in a skilled position. I make twice the federal minimum wage, and I am poor. And if that isn't the most late-stage capitalism thing, if you want to buy me a meal, my Venmo's in my bio.
All right, people, back with another dose. We're going to talk more about the cost of living. People have reached the breaking point, and you may not see it when you just see people out and about, when you're shopping, when you're just out in the world. You don't see people talking about this stuff, but they are putting it on social media. By the way, giving credit where credit is due. Let me just bring up the name of that channel. That last clip was Grand S Watermelon. Grand S Watermelon. That was the screen name. I'm not sure if that's his own channel or what. But people have reached the breaking point, folks. Again, you may not see it when you're out and about. People aren't going to come up to you and start telling you these things. But social media is exploding. I mean, literally exploding with just every day hundreds and hundreds of new videos of people talking about how they can't make ends meet. They can't take it anymore. This is America in 2025, folks. And if you're not yet one of the people living paycheck to paycheck, which is about 70%, numbers probably climbed since we looked at that statistic last. If you're not one of those people, hopefully you'll never be. But I'm concerned about the youth of this country, and this goes beyond the U.S., but specifically in the U.S. because that's where I'm at. I'm concerned about the young people and the youth, and how are people going to handle things down the road if they just continue to get more expensive, right? The cost of living, we're told that they're trying to slow inflation down. Well, that's not going to help anything because prices are already too high. So prices going up higher, but at a slower pace, which is slowing inflation, that's not going to help anybody, right? So folks, I'm concerned about, I have kids I'm worried about. I'm worried about their future. I do a lot of investing, a lot of side hustles, and have different streams of income just to get by. And I'm doing okay. And if I lost my job tomorrow, I'd probably still be okay because I have different streams of income. But not everybody has the time or resources or energy to do that. And sometimes I don't have the energy. Sometimes I don't feel like doing all the things that I do during a day. I think I should be doing a lot less. I should be sleeping a lot more. I should be able to relax a lot more. But I feel like if I relax or if I stop doing these other things, that I'm going to get pulled under the wheel, or if something bad happens, I don't want to sit there and worry about the future, right? So I try to do these things to build up a nest egg, but certain people just can't do it. You have disabled people, elderly people, people that just don't have a chance when they're right now. People are getting out of school, graduating, let's say college, and you don't really have a lot of opportunities. You heard this guy that we just talked about here, that we just heard from rather. He said he makes twice the federal minimum wage, which is still not a lot. He's not in an entry-level position. He's in what he describes as a professional position, but he lives in his car. I mean, that's and that's the new reality, folks. That's USA 2025 here. But let's hear from some more people, and then we're going to give you the backstory on all this. We're going to give you some recent data, some numbers that just came out here that are going to kind of underpin the reasons and the situation here that so many people are in right now. All right, let's hear from someone else here. This is Michelle. I'm trying to read her screen name here. Michelle St. John. Michelle St. John 08. Let's listen to what she has to say here.
Americans can't even afford to pay their rent unless they work 20,000 hours a week. And this is not, unless you're a professional person, you're a lawyer or a doctor or whatever you have your degree in. If you're a normal average American and you're in the working age, it's almost impossible to pay your rent. I met this man this morning. Yeah, I was talking to him. I delivered his breakfast to him. I'm one of those Americans. I delivered his breakfast to him. And
DoorDash. So many people doing DoorDash now, side hustles. I'm doing side hustles, but not DoorDash, not yet anyway. Maybe I'll have to one day.
an Uber, on an Uber delivery, and we chit-chatted for a minute, and the whole time I'm
What's that called? Uber Eats, right? So many people doing Uber Eats, DoorDash, etc.
chit-chatting. I'm nervous because I need to be getting back out there so I can pay my rent. Anyway, he was telling me that he actually had 2 jobs, full-time jobs, and his house, you know, it wasn't that fabulous. It was just a mid-range house here in Florida. You know, he said he was ordering Uber Eats because he needed to eat, and as there was no food in the house, and he was splurging. His wife was working, he was starving, and he had to get some food in his stomach. So he
It seems like Uber Eats would be a lot more expensive than just going to the store. Maybe he's disabled or something, so I don't know the whole backstory. So let's finish up what she has to say here.
he did an Uber Eat. You know what he did? He did an Uber. He got a notification from Uber Eat saying 50% off.
Okay, now it makes sense. I got one of those too. I've never done Uber Eats. I've never done DoorDash. I have gotten these offers though, these coupons. I can't remember if it was digital or a paper coupon, but you get 50% off your first order. I almost did it, even though I'm a little bit sketched out at having somebody deliver my food, which I shouldn't be, because people touch your food in the restaurant. They touch your food wherever you go. They've touched it in the grocery store, right? An average item in the section of the grocery store, let's say avocados, right? The average item, I heard that over 500 people have touched it between when it's shipped and the different people handling the items, the stockers, the people shopping that pick it up and look at it. I heard it's an average of 500 people touch the item that you buy if it's in, let's say, produce or something that people have to pick up and check out before they buy it. 500. I could be wrong. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. But anyways, back to what she's saying. I almost did Uber Eats because of these coupons. Now it makes sense why this person she's talking about did the Uber Eats. All right, let's finish up here.
First order. So he took advantage of it. And he's pretty sad, huh? Anyway, but it's true. This is what's going on. Anyway, he has a college degree. He didn't get anywhere with that. No, he didn't get anywhere. He got a real estate license. He said that was a joke. He invested 6 months of his life. He sold one house, and he said he had to give up because there were just too many realtors out there.
Very tough business. Real estate's very tough business. You can make it. You can do real good money. But if you're one of the people just getting started, it's real competitive, as she said.
Everybody thought they were going to make a lot of money selling houses, and he couldn't hold off anymore. So he's out there, and he's bartending at night. He's mowing lawns. He's doing all kinds of side work. His wife works full time. He's got a couple kids to feed. They're worried about their rent. Do they pay their rent? Do they get their utilities turned off? What are they doing? He says their credit cards are all maxed out. He says neither of them are gamblers or take drugs or do anything like that. They just can't afford to live in today's world, So I don't know what's going on. How can we get out of this mess? How?
Folks, that's tough. We're going to talk about how we can get out of this mess here a little bit later in the video. It's really, really simple, but it's scary to think that this may never happen. Even though it's simple, it may never happen. And there's a lot of reasons beneath it or underneath it or the reasons for it. We'll get into that here. But first, let's hear from somebody else here that's really kind of putting themselves out there here with their situation. And this is Sarah S. It almost looks like Sarah Silly, but it's Sarah SLLY 23. Let's hear what she has to say here. Can go ahead and rewind it to the beginning here.
My paycheck was short $300. I can't pay my rent on time. My car insurance is past due. It's like over $300.
Again, people, if you saw this person out shopping, out somewhere, probably spending money, probably on a credit card, you wouldn't think twice. You would think, wow, the economy must be great. Look at all these people spending money shopping. Folks, people are living on borrowed money and credit right now. I mean, listen to this.
My energy bill is past due, and I've been paying little bits, and that's over $900. One of my senior technicians quit. And I tell you guys all the time that when you have struggles like this and you feel like you just have you don't know what to do. I have a wedding to save for.
She said one of her senior technicians quit. So she sounds like, the way she described that, the way she worded that, she said one of my. So she sounds like she's in management, or she maybe runs her own business, something like that. People of all different walks of life, all different levels financially are having these problems here. Let's continue.
I'm going to practice what I preach because I know God's got this. For any of you guys in the same boat, let's pray together. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I come to you today.
Folks, people have they've reached the limit. I mean, they are praying. They're praying for something to change. They're praying for something to happen. Are we on the brink of something big? Is something big going to happen to change this whole financial trajectory, this cost of living, the way the money gets sent up to the top, to the wealthiest people, the top 10%, exponential growth in their wealth for decades now. Over the past 5 years, it's really gone crazy. But all right, let's just fast forward a little bit here.
Come to you in need. That I can be direct with what
She's still praying. I don't want to,
I need from you. I know that you already...
mid-prayer here.
I can't pay my car insurance.
All right, it's not a joke, folks. I mean, she's really praying on camera, folks. How desperate do you have to be? And I'm not at all disparaging anyone. And this is why I'm talking about this. People, I have friends and family that probably are feeling just like her. They're praying for some sort of solution. They're praying for something to change, folks. What do you think about this? Let me know down in comments. And people are putting themselves out there now more and more and more on social media. All right, now that last person, if you want to hear the whole thing, go look her up. She started going into prayer and stuff like that. So with religious stuff, you kind of have to tiptoe around that. As much as I'd like to get more into it, you can't really do that. I mean, you can, but there's consequences when you do that. Let's hear from somebody else here. Take a listen to this. And the screen name for this individual is Chrissy. That's CHRISSY. V like Victor. Barron, BARRON. And let's hear what she's talking about here.
What? So then what? And then homelessness or houselessness is becoming criminalized. So
all right, sorry, we're going to rewind it here.
So let me get this straight. We can't afford rent because rent prices are increasing so much to push us out to buy homes. But the interest rate is so high, you can't buy a home. And also you're not going to get funded for a home because of your debt to income ratio. So then what? So
it's a trap. It's a catch-22. It's pretty much the walls are closing in on people. Even back before the housing bubble, 2008, it was significantly cheaper to rent. And people started selling their homes because it was cheaper to rent. Now, it's sometimes just as expensive to rent and more expensive to rent. I mean, there's still a few areas where you can actually buy a home and have it be less than rent, mostly like in the Rust Belt, Ohio, Indiana, places like that. But those places are becoming fewer and farther between. Let's go ahead and listen to the rest of what she's talking about here.
Then what? And then homelessness or houselessness is becoming criminalized. So then what?
True. Homelessness is becoming criminalized. There's sweeping camps here in California. I think it's happening in lots of other states too. And what's criminalizing going to do? These people aren't doing this because they have much of a choice. They have no choice.
I don't understand. To be honest, I really like the idea of building a commune, aside from like the culty aspect of it, but essentially buying land, driving vans, building a tiny houses on it, and everyone shares.
A commune where everybody gets together, they buy land, everyone shares the land. The concept of that is good. It comes with a lot of complications and zoning laws. They're making it really hard to do things like that. Some areas you still can, but it's not easy, folks. I mean, so much red tape and forms to fill out and fees, and they're going to come inspect your land regulations. You know how it goes, folks. I mean, red tape everywhere you turn, right? It's like we're being tied up with red tape everywhere, all right? There's no easy way out. You can't just buy land and do what you want to on it. There's, again, zoning and different things you can and can't not do. Sometimes you can't even dig on your land. And it's different in each area. There's some places where it's easier than others. It's too broad of a topic to talk about, but you know what I'm saying. That's a lot of things are sound simple in concept, but are very, very difficult in reality. All right. So what's causing all this, folks? It's easy money. It's easy money. It's no end to the amount of money that can be borrowed. The United States is at 37 trillion in debt yet. At this point, it doesn't even matter. 100 plus trillion unfunded liabilities, borrowing endless amounts of money, endless deficits, deficit spending. The tax dollars don't even cover, they barely cover the taxes that are taken in by the U.S. total for all working individuals. Is soon going to be barely enough to pay the interest on the debt. And then where does it go from there, folks? Where does it end, right? A lot of people are saying it's not going to end. It's just going to keep getting worse. Some people say there's going to be a breaking point where we're going to see another financial sort of collapse. People have chimed in on that on this channel. Let me know down in the comments. Many people say, and it's about 50-50, many people say that it's never going to end, that it's going to continue forever. Other people say it's going to be a breaking point somewhere where something's going to snap. There's going to be a failed derivative trade or World War III threat or actual World War III. Something's going to bring down the entire system. Other theories, I guess you want to call them, are even much darker than that I really don't even want to get into today on this channel. I'm trying to keep a little bit positive spirit today. So anyways, I just want you to know, and this is a positive thing. If you're in this boat, if you're in this situation, it's actually comforting to know there's other people out there that are in the same boat as you, right? So it's actually a positive thing to see these people putting themselves out there, because it helps a lot of people that are also going through tough times. So what can we do about it, folks? Invest, folks. Keep stacking. I'm still stacking silver, waiting for a big shift financially. I still think we're going to go back to sound money, hopefully sooner rather than later. I used to put timelines on things where, it's going to happen by this date, it's going to happen by that date. Folks, I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. How soon is that? I don't know, but I'm just stacking every day, trying to keep my head clear, trying not to get caught up on substances, no drinking. I don't smoke anything, don't drink anything. Living a clean lifestyle, trying to stay healthy, folks. That's all we can do. And keep stacking, all right? Let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Big love, as always. Keep stacking. Bye for now. Peace.